Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the game just informed us that we're in an ending, and I find that to be spoilery. At any rate, forth we go.
Well, the thing was, we obviously closed between the last episode and this one.
Mm-hmm.
And we came back in today and we went, oh.
That's
that you're telling us that we have an end. Okay.
Because it stops showing you chapters and goes, this is where you are.
Before Nadia can speak again, Lucio scampers away with his tail between his legs, disappearing out the front doors. What if he slinks back to the devil? How will he get back to the I don't care about the devil thing.
He can't get back to the real world. He doesn't have a body.
Well, how will he get back? Like, I
say,
need to know.
You just banished him back and said he was going to be around, so how will he do that? Good question. Excellent. I love it.
But also, I'm like, what if he slinks back to the devil?
It doesn't matter.
I don't honestly think
the thing is if Corazon can do that once, Corazon can do it again. So therefore,
how will he get back to the real world? We're in the Arcana's realm right now. How will he get back to the real world?
And the thing is he won't have a body when he gets there, so he'll just be what? A really insubstantial ghost? Literal dead? That's not really our problem, is it? I'm sure he'll find a way, and if not, oh well. Either way, I am finally free of him.
Nadia closes her eyes, breathing in deeply as she savors Lucio's absence. Which, and finally actually deciding she's done with him. Which is something to be said for someone who has basically a persistent abuser, whether or not they're physically there.
Right.
If you really go, I am actually done, and you can really put it down.
She's gotten her closure.
Yes.
Good, excellent. Also, enjoys the smell of not Lucio.
Great.
So good.
Then, slowly, she opens her eyes once more and turns her full attention to me.
Lucio's gone. Do you know what that means, Corazon?
He was already gone. I'm sorry. The smile that spreads across her lips is the freest I have ever seen. Even her shoulders seem lighter.
I mean, we already know that you've gotten your body back. Oh, is she saying she's single now? Oh my god, okay, hang on.
She drops down to one knee in front of me without hesitation, adoration swimming in her eyes.
Okay.
My heart does not pound rapidly. I'm just sort of looking at you. As she takes my hand. Is she doing what I think she...
I realize I could give you a speech about how much you mean to me. And how much you've changed me. Change you've not been able to observe in this arc or in this story, but it's happened.
Like, largely where her change... I don't know. Like, is it going to be now that her change equates to, and I'll stop talking about Lucio? Like, I'm not really
How has she become different from the beginning of her arc in behavior till now?
Well, because the thing is also, like, what I want is more of her discussions about what she used to be, or other people talking about what she used to be like, or, like, actual knowledge of, hey, this is what she used to be like.
To stop questioning that people actually like her, and that she can receive their help.
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah.
I just say, have we seen her grow, or is this just an internal process for her? All right.
It's fine. I'm just having a problem because usually, again, in a lot of narrative stories, and especially if they're trying to push strong themes, they try to make that fairly obvious to the person
reader
who's reading.
Yes.
And this feels very much like you'll have to imagine all that stuff off screen.
Or going, this is about her, you don't get to be a part of that piece.
Which is really weird, because she's like, you've done all these things for me, and you want to make, like, and we really want you to also feel really strongly romantically connected to her, and look at what you've done. And I'm like, as far as I can tell, we really haven't done anything for her.
Not really.
Other than just sort of be annoyed at
Other than
things.
occasionally not taking a break with her.
Right.
Because we wanted to keep working.
Oh, that was the thing you were going to talk about, was how much, like, her coping behavior of, like, running off and...
Okay, so I had this theory. So there was this thing that I was talking about. Since we're getting near the end of the game, I'm going to try and exposit this sort of as cleanly as I can.
Yes.
I was talking at one point, between episodes, just a bit ago, of going... If she is an abused person, specifically who was abused in a romantic relationship and now has a new romantic partner, one of the things that I've seen come up over and over and over again in my life, and that you hear people talk about online, that my friends have seen, is when someone's been traumatized by a partner, that trauma comes up in reference to their new partner, even if their new partner experience is very, very healthy. And so because it is a trauma response to things that are connected to what you've been hurt by before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going, if Nadia is talking all the time about having this abusive husband that hurt her and disempowered her and like basically sheltered her or encouraged her to be
detached
and also like closeted away and antisocial and disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
Where are all of those things in her personality now? And then I had a question going, maybe the reason she wants breaks all the time, the reason she keeps wanting to stop and take a break, stop and take a breather, stop and rest, not just, so they can fit in cute romantic scenes, but is a piece of her character of, that's where she's hitting, I'm overwhelmed. This reminds me of being disempowered. This makes me feel like I'm going to fail. This makes me feel like when Lucio would swing in and tell me I'm actually bad at this and gaslight me, like I'm getting to that point.
Right.
And so I go, I should take a break. We should pause. Do you want to just wait for a bit? And that's actually her coping mechanism to sort of re-steel herself to try again and to wait in that sort of pressured internal experience to let it cool off and go, no one is going to hurt me.
Mm-hmm. See, and I like that idea. I just also had a problem, like even we kind of discussed it going, but then that also makes your romantic little spaces seem more than just like you're enabling her.
There's also a level of going, in Julian's route, which we've contrasted a lot because that's the one we've played before.
Yep.
It seemed very, very, very clear that he was using
sex
and or
physical contact,
sexual interactions as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
For her, the breaks don't feel clearly like a coping mechanism. She doesn't seem like she's panicking or stressing out or redirecting so much as going, I'm tired, let's do something else, which could be the type of energy and I'm just not able to access it. But it doesn't feel as obvious of, this is me trying to get out of this because I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as much as like I'm running away kind of thing.
And it especially doesn't feel like I am having a serotonin drop and I want to get some back by flirting with or doing sexy things with you.
Right, exactly.
Which is what it really did sometimes feel like with Hulu.
And it doesn't mean, obviously they're different characters. I think that's kind of appropriate, but then it left both of us actually in an awkward space going, then what is Nadia's character arc even about? Like, what is her process? Like, her real, like...
And this whole time we've been trying, let's reconnect you to people. Let's let you know you have your own personal value and you don't need to be competitive with other people. And let's let you know you can work as a team and in a group and accept help.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't... we keep telling her these things, but none of them have displayed in evidence except perhaps when she was like, I can let my siblings help me.
Yes.
Kind of.
And that was like one thing, and I did actually even mention going, I kind of liked that actually she seemed to be struggling more with her issues in a way that felt, I will say, better written, I almost want to say, compared to like Julian's, which felt just constantly super horny and was really frustrating in that sense.
Mm.
Like, not that there's anything wrong with being horny, but there was a level of going, like, it was incredibly like petulant, like childish in a way that I didn't know what to do with. Like, it was so much more direct, like overt, like I have to baby / caretake you. Like, for you. And it feels like almost they went the complete opposite direction with Nadia and going, now she's this hyper-competent woman. And you're going...
Except for, there's the stating she's hyper-competent, but not really displaying it a lot. Anyway, so I had that going, is that supposed to be part of why she behaves this way? Is it because that is a sign of her, basically, her trauma and her abuse, of going, every time I get close to accomplishing something, I'm basically afraid that the other shoe's going to drop. And so the way I respond to it is to go, oh, we should take a break.
Right.
And sort of give herself that space to breathe and go, nothing bad is going to happen. But since she's so completely insular, she never shares it. And so the reader and your MC never get any sense of it. But it's, anyway, so it was a theory I had that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, anyway.
All right. And how much you've changed me. But the truth of the matter is, I simply want to be with you. Not just now, but for the rest of my life. And I hope you feel the same. Corazon, will you marry me? Sorry, that line threw me off a lot, actually.
You weren't expecting that,
I wasn't expecting her to go that hard. As well as I'm like, you still haven't discussed the power difference between each other. And what does it mean to marry you? Does the MC know what that would do to their position? Would they turn into someone of equal rank to you?
I don't know how they do inheritance here, or how you gain titles, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
And
I
going,
have no clue.
because right now this is your employer and your ruler asking you to marry them.
Yep.
And
That's fine.
not so much just your date friend, and someone that's let's start building a relationship. We haven't actually dated yet. We haven't actually been doing the dating. So this is rather sudden of going, I've known you for a few days, and during that time, while you've turned down my advances almost continually, and constantly pushed me to work harder than I want to, and are less affectionate than I would really generally desire, I want to be with you forever.
Yeah, I've kind of been a little weirded out by that too, especially if like Nadia really wants to be that kind of like physically handsy, especially in public kind of thing. You're gonna have some serious problems basically with the MC that I have created for this basic story, and the answer will be no.
This sounds sort of wildly sudden also, though, where she hasn't seemed to grow more and more affectionate towards you. Or more
no,
more
but the
connected.
more affection is that she's going to touch you way more often.
Connected to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that. I haven't really connected to I'm feeling closer and closer to you so much as I kind of opened up to you at the beginning, and then I was continually at that level forever. And I haven't seen growth.
So I was actually also going to say that there's another way to kind of do this, where the authors honestly could have taken the route of, let's actually have her mention things that you guys have discussed off screen. That way you could actually more directly basically imply a lot of character development and character relationship building without necessarily having to show it. And also showing what she found to be important, she could say, our discussion on this thing.
Well, and I mentioned that a lot in Julian's wrote, that there's a way to do short hops.
Yeah.
And a way to have more story without having to write it all by discussing what has happened. Because all the time, a scene ends and we come back in a day later, 10 hours later, whatever it is, after the night.
Right.
You could really have something that follows and makes sense in there that you then refer back to, but wasn't played out explicitly.
Yeah.
And that could have done quite a bit. Anyway, will you marry me? Those are your only options. I almost could see Corazon going, this is quite sudden. Not so sudden, but quite sudden.
This is sudden.
Exactly. This is sudden.
Yeah.
I also don't feel like Corazon is in a point where they want to commit to something for the rest of their lives. They're still feeling themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, Corazon has a pretty solid idea in that sort of arrogant kind of way.
Well, who I am,
yeah.
But what do you want to do with your whole life as far as other people are concerned?
Yeah. You have like 3 years of memories. This is...
Yeah, do you remember your waking initial memories?
Well, since we've never talked about it, who knows?
Who knows?
So as far as I can say, since it's never been on screen, the answer is no. The only thing, quote, you remember is the last 3 years. That's been it.
Yeah.
This is sudden. Nadia smiles softly.
I know. But I've never been more sure about anything in my life. Corazon.
Was that what you said to Lucio?
I would be interested to know, how did it work for you last time? Did you ask him?
Did he ask you?
If you asked him and you're asking again, this might be poor judgment on your part.
Just so you know.
Actually.
Also, you've barely spent any time together, and as actually my friend and I have discussed, and I have actually discussed even with other people that I have been with in relation to just relationships in general, if the situation ever changes, if you form a relationship under trauma, unless you deliberately try to do everything possible to move it out of that, basically, like, this is where we formed a relationship, and actually try to pull it into the present, you are more than likely going to lose your relationship, which was actually the discussion we had about Nerd and Julian.
So there's this really, it's not a great movie. I was going to say, Speed 2, in fact. Okay? But the thing is I believe it starts at the end of Speed, the first one. I would say, and it's a Sandra Bullock movie.
Right.
It's an action movie. It's a thriller.
Yeah.
And it was back in like the 90s, question mark?
God, it's been a while.
Anyway,
Yeah.
my family, it was one of those things where they were like, this is an amazing thing. We've been exposed to this now and we just love it. You should watch it. And I was like, okay. And the thing is like, in it, you have this traumatic circumstance, and the writers, I don't know if it was written by a woman, I suddenly want to know, or directed by one, because there was this level of, we've made this strong connection between your man and your woman protagonist, right?
Right.
And then going,
like always.
relationships formed under extreme circumstances they rarely work out.
Uh-huh.
That is the only quote I remember from both of those movies, and it's a really excellent quote. And when you look into it, there really is strong support for that, because as my friend was saying, and they have broken down why, if what you've connected over is a piece of trauma, and you don't continue to have that trauma in your life, if you connect over extreme poverty, if you connect over surviving abusive exes, if you connect over being in a war together, whatever it is, when that thing is not there, what else do you have that connects you? What else do you have in common?
What else is there?
What else drives you together?
Yes.
And that's an important thing to be aware of. If this quest to get away from her abuser and find herself as a ruler is what brought you together, she's done those things. So what's connecting you afterwards?
Yes.
And also, if what is bringing you, the MC, to her is assisting her in these things and discovering your own ability to make choices and, and basically help develop someone else, once that's done, what are you doing? So, the rest of my life, trust me, this proposal is far more thought out than my last one.
Oh, you...
She did ask him. Another thing I will put out there, that in my experience, when a relationship has gone poorly and the next one has the same stepping stones along the way, it tends to go poorly. You usually want a relationship of a different shape and different hallmarks to go well, or to go differently at least.
You know how that thing where they talk about a lot of people basically cycle around with similar people, especially because a lot of people basically go, you wander more or less in the same circles. If you really want to change your life, you need to move out of those spaces.
Interesting question. No, that's really good. Very good point.
Yeah.
And that most people's lives are really very, very small.
Like, there was a book, actually, that my friend read that she's actually mentioned sometimes before, where the guy actually specifically says, going, like, examine your day. Like, your week, your month. Like, really, you could probably list off all the places you go. Those are the kind of people that you will run into over and over again. So when you keep going, God, I can't find anyone new, blah, blah, whatever, think about where you're actually going.
Are you doing anything new? Are you going anywhere new? He says that most people in their lives, other than an occasional vacation, never go more than 50 miles from their hometown.
Which is so funny, because I'm like, I have moved all over the U.S.
Well, and the thing is this is most people.
Oh, yeah.
And most people aren't in a transient lifestyle.
Yeah.
All the time, no matter where you go, you meet a ton of people that are like, oh yeah, I was born and raised here.
Oh, yeah.
And that is
I knew people who didn't
average.
leave the county.
Who have never left their county.
Yeah.
And it's not like you need to leave, but you need greater exposure.
Yeah.
I do love that we find out that she proposed, but I'm also like, so was he ruling this land? Was he ruling Vesuvia? And then she went, hey, I could find myself as a ruler here and work with him to do something really fucking cool to this city.
Right? I would like to know, but there would be so much more relationship building and connecting to her as a character.
It'd also be very interesting if she went, here's a count or whatever rank he was, and he's by himself, and he's got this incredible amount of potential because he's got big visions, I assume, or at least big words. And there's a city that he's over that has, or an entire, little kingdom, that has so much potential. And if he sounds into what I'm imagining, we could do so much together.
Yeah.
Then my last one. I'm not making the same mistake again. This time, I'm fixing my mistakes.
How is getting married fixing your mistake?
Also, if you're trying to find out who you are on your own, why have a new relationship immediately? You've been on your own for like 3 months.
Yeah, because you have to remember, honey, you were in a coma before that.
And so you've basically been single for a couple of months. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
With a dead husband haunting you.
Yeah.
Semi-dead. Half dead?
All dead?
And now he has graduated to full dead.
I guess.
I'm choosing to be with the person I should have been with all along.
What do you mean should have? What does the fuck that mean?
Yeah, what does should mean in this
I
case?
don't think I
also,
have ever been with somebody going, I should have been with you all along.
Unless you consider yourself to should be in a relationship, and so if you should be in a relationship and that's part of who you are, then it should have been this one. So if that makes sense, there are some people that see themselves only in the context of relationship. Now, in your patriarchal societies, especially in America, there is a lot of women can only define themselves by their relationship with a man.
So or just with another person, I guess, yeah.
Certainly in the heteronormative circles, which is the overarching largeness of it, you do have a woman isn't fully complete until she is wanted by and in a partnership with a man.
Right. And in this way, if we're going to extend that slightly, honestly, it sounds like she's just repeating that basically same idea, just now more broad, because you're not a man.
Not a man, just in a part. So it sounds like she's saying part of
compulsive heterosexuality, but this time it's queer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But compulsive, basically romantic relationship. Basically, it's required.
And it does sound
I don't like this for
like
her.
she defines herself by being in a relationship, which is interesting because she sounded like a total loner as a kid.
Yeah, she kind of did.
And so it's like when she grows up, and it doesn't look like all of her siblings are all married and paired off.
No.
And her mom's not even particularly married. I
don't think we even actually have seen her mother in this whole entire, her mom doesn't exist.
No, but we had her in the other one.
Yeah,
didn't we?
I think so.
Briefly? I thought we did.
I
might be going insane.
I might be too.
At any rate,
didn't I actually mention that the oldest crown princess and the mom actually look really similar?
So I think we
actually got really confused. I think that's what happened in
we did. We did see her. Yeah.
Why is her mom not in this goddamn row?
So here's the next. The question is going. If she's saying the person I should have been with all along, she does see herself as being as part of who she is, as being in a relationship.
Being with someone.
And I find that very, very odd based on how she's described the rest of herself, as well as the fact again of I can't have help, I need to be an island, I need to do this all myself. What do you think? And now
you're going to go and need someone to be isolated with me?
Well, and also going, if that's how you see yourself and your life, what do you see the other person being as part of your life? If not a connected partnership.
Which is exactly what she actually said she wanted when we, quote, started this relationship. Because remember she said, I want a partner?
She also said
I'm like,
she wanted that with Lucio and that he wouldn't do it. But she hasn't, and so maybe that's part of her, basically them trying to write basically the trauma and hurt that she's had of going, I say I want this, but I actually can't open up to this or be vulnerable to it or actually participate in a partnership because I've been burned so much by my last partner, but I still cannot change the shape of my world, which is that I will have someone I am romantically connected to that, is a permanent relationship.
Who knows? I don't know.
The
should have hurts me. I'm like, you shouldn't. What? Stop.
It does sound like she 100% defines herself.
Especially if we're going to remove other social questions and other social issues. Should have is a really fucking weird thing to say in the middle of a fantasy romance situation, in my opinion.
It's a very strong statement.
Yes.
If you'll choose me too.
I take a deep breath, closing my eyes to calm
my thoughts.
My thoughts, not my heart.
I don't know either. Is this you're given two possible answers. One is yes, and the other is this is so sudden, but both of them equal yes. Neither of them actually change what happens. So really, this is just here's what's going to happen. Why give us a choice there at all? What did that choice do for the story if the only answer is I want to be with you too?
And that's also the only, quote, ending.
I would imagine. How many options do you actually have here in this space? Even if you do really want to be with this person, maybe you don't want to be with them in marriage. Maybe you don't want to be with her right now in marriage. Some people don't
believe in marriage. Some people don't have marriage culturally. Marriage also isn't everything. I'm like, I don't understand this. I'm having a hard time with this.
I want to be with you too.
You want me?
I would just...
I'm going to pretend like we've had all these conversations and everything's good.
Let's
the character development has actually happened.
That you've actually spent a good amount of time discussing the power imbalances, discussing what this looks like, discussing what you want from each other, discussing how you might move forward, discussing what she wants out of a relationship that's different than what she had with Lucio.
What was her relationship actually like? Because the thing is, I'm sorry, I don't like getting vague blogged about about your ex, except in having nothing really definitive to go on.
Actually talking about what they like about Nadia, what they like about people, what they've always thought Nadia was and what they hoped for. Going, I saw you as this motivated, powerhouse. You don't seem to be that thing so much. You seem to be less directed and more adrift, even as you have that power on and on.
I want to be with you too. Valerius recovers first, a smooth smile already pasted onto his face.
Gently painted on.
Surprisingly, it seems almost a little genuine. I was unkind to you, Corazon. I was, downright treasonous to Nadia, yet I am standing here, human again, free. Nadia will make an acceptable countess now, and you will be an acceptable partner for her.
Says the person you're going to be ruling over that technically could be in line for your position.
I will gladly submit to you. This sounds like it's getting kinky.
I will allow you to rule over me. That is acceptable. So you're not going to start a coup. Fabulous. I do believe that's the nicest thing you've ever said. To me, around me. You haven't heard everything he's ever said.
Just so you know.
Valerius?
Yes, well, don't get used to it. I had to meme at you too.
I have no plans to continue being agreeable at all. Personally, I love weddings. They've always been one of my favorite traditions. But, as much as I'd love to celebrate, don't you think it's time you all return home? Valerius and Corazon are in possession of their physical bodies. That can be dangerous here. Your body is physically moved into this realm. That's interesting, actually. That's really interesting. I'm also like...
So, again, how did Lucio get here with our physical body, and what the fuck happened there? So, again, why do we also just think that Lucio's going to be able to get back? Because no other Arcana, as far as we know, would ever be interested in giving, quote, their body up. Because the only one that seemed to have one either was the Fool, or the Fool was the only one who was willing to ever trade it.
Or could be tricked.
Into doing so.
Also, I don't think there's any other way to get a body other than to take one from someone.
Yeah.
And in this case, the Arcana asked for going, well, I can't steal a real living person's body because that'd be more death, but I could steal an Arcana's body.
I don't know how that was supposed to be better. Where would you ever get the goddamn idea to go, so I can't use a corpse, and I can't Frankenstein this, you know.
And I can't take someone's living body and just push them out of it.
Right? I'm like, Alright, I'm gonna get way too much into ethics.
Nope, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Anyway,
dangerous.
So are we not worried about Volta's body, which is just sitting in the little room with the food that is apparently now also, based on this, her real body that Astra's just allowing to stay there?
Maybe Astra has kicked her out already?
Nope, but we told her she could stay there as long as she wanted without talking to Astra. It's fine.
Like I said, I am assuming that somehow Nadia has magic, connecty, telecom, you know, communicator.
Come in, Astra. Astra, do you read? I need you to leave this room intact.
No, I have you back at that. Sorry, I cannot be doing this thing. You scream,
what? Astra.
What?
So we have solved the problem with the most recent.
Great, I'm trying to solve a food fight.
No, that's fine. Ignore that for a moment. I don't care. The party is second. Now, I need you to leave the room for Volta
what have you done with
intact, so she can stay there and eat things.
But that's a lot of energy.
Yeah, no, just leave it. It's fine. You'll be fine.
It's a lot of focus.
I've said so you'll do great.
I have to go hunt down other people?
Yes, do that as well.
No!
I'm hanging up now. Thank you for cooperation.
No! Alright, dangerous.
That can be dangerous here. You're quite right. Come, Corazon. Let's go home. I shall contact Astra via my gate to take you... My gate. Oh my god, what are we even doing? It's fine. It's fine. To take you and Valerius back. We will reconvene at the fountain.
I'm sorry.
What about Volta?
It's fine.
What about, where even is
I just wish I had a
Vlastimil?
pillow. I just need a pillow.
To scream in the pillow.
Please. She takes my hand in hers and lifts it to her mouth, kissing it gently.
Moi. I will see you soon.
In person.
Not
just in spirit.
Not
because
just now.
It's the spirit of the thing that matters, not actually... Anyway, it's fine. Welcome back, Cousin.
Astra seems unfazed by you having your body back and returning now.
Astra helps you climb out of the fountain. passing a hand over my masquerade outfit to clean it. Looks like you got into a few messes, eh?
In the Arcana realm?
With magic of if I choose to be messy or not messy?
Sounds
made
wild.
up.
Looks like you got into a few messes, and by that I mean I just dragged you out of a messy, poorly kept fountain, and you're covered in that, and I'm making a joke. Hee hee, a funny.
Beside me, Valerius clambers out of the fountain on his own, soaking wet. Which is exactly probably what
Are Volta and Vlastimil here?
Also looking like...
Clambering out of the fountain?
Looking soaking wet?
Hmm?
Astra just shoots him a single glance, and then turns his attention back to me. Nadia should be waking up and heading down here with Muriel now. Right on time, Nadia appears around a corner with Muriel trailing after her.
Finally. Everything is getting back to how it's supposed to be. Oh, something's happening. Oh, cliffhanger time.
Oh, so we're gonna have to find out what it's supposed to be in
the next one. I guess.
So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, interact. Please, it does a lot for us in regards to YouTube algorithm. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch. We have links in the description downstairs below. It would be great if you check those out. And I have been Scandal.
We also sometimes put very fun descriptions of the videos down there as well.
We have this whole time.
And so if you haven't gone and checked those out, now might be the time. And I have been Liz. And it was great playing with you. Bye-bye!